out to those people who are not here. It's honest and real. Yes, absolutely. Like that's what's most, like I don't want someone to sugarcoat things for me or tell me things that aren't true or see something about me that they're not saying, right? That's the whole point of getting support and like an outside perspective. So we can, you know, we don't need that from other people. We can do that for ourselves just fine. So I just started doing cardio and it's like making me way more tired than usual. Just last week, instead of just yoga, I'm like adding cardio in and it's like, I feel it. My body's like, whoa. So anyways, you're in the right place today if you are feeling overwhelmed in your role as a stepmom, you're unsure what direction to go in, and you might even be doing things like staying up at night ruminating about something the ex did or the kids did or your partner did. And you're feeling the effects of this, of the stress, wearing you down in other areas of your life. Like you might not be enjoying yourself and your relationship as much as you would like. You're in the right place if you're ready to shift your approach to your role so that you can feel more empowered regardless of how difficult your circumstances are. So if you're ready to get out of victim mode. And you're in the right place if you're really ready to let go of feeling like a victim once and for all and to work on feeling confident and empowered in yourself. Within yourself. And if you're open to trying new things and new ways of looking at things, closed-mindedness is not going to get you to a new spot, right? There's a saying like what got you here won't get you there. So it could be that the way that you've been thinking about things up until now is not the way that's going to get you into a new spot with what's going on. So make sure you stay till the end of this webinar again, because I'm making a super exclusive offer that's only for those of you here today. So Tish, you got like the winning ticket. The people with their recording are going to get it too. But it's available until tomorrow evening. So I'll be telling you about that at the end. So who I am a stepmom to a very energetic 8-year-old boy, and I'm a bio mom to a 4-year-old boy, and I'm also a dog mom to a 10-year-old pug. She's my easiest. I have 8 years of experience as a licensed psychotherapist, and I've done all kinds of different coaching, supporting people to break through the stuff that's holding them back from living their best lives, in a nutshell. I got together with my significant other super quickly. Our pregnancy was a complete surprise to us. I found myself neck deep in one of the most challenging circumstances I had ever found myself in. And this was with having a master's degree in counseling, and which they never mention, they never talk about blended families in the entire 3 years of my master's degree, by the way, which I feel like is kind of crazy. But I'd also done like tons of personal growth, tons of therapy at least, and lots of babysitting. So I'd always had a really easy time with kids. I thought, no problem. I was actually really attracted to my boyfriend because he was a dad. And I thought it would be great, right? So it turns out I actually had trouble connecting with my stepson. I had a really hard time. It was the first time I'd ever encountered that. I felt really uncomfortable with my boyfriend's ex, obviously, and the amount and the ways that they were communicating and like just their history, all of that turned out to be way more challenging than I ever could have imagined. And my boyfriend's parenting style, honestly, just drove me nuts. And I got to the point where I saw myself being a version of myself that I really did not like. I was yelling, oh, hi to anyone who's joining. I'm just doing an intro and talking about, hello to anyone who's joining. I'm just doing an intro and talking about my story a little bit. Welcome, glad to see you here. Use the chat box to participate, and I'm going to keep going forward. I do read from a screen, I said at the beginning, just to keep myself on track and not go off into tangents. So welcome, say hi, and introduce yourself, and I'm going to continue. So it's a very small group today, very intimate. Glad to have you though, Eileen. I think you'll be excited if you stay till the end. I'm giving a really unique offer, so please stay till the end. So I was yelling all the time. I was feeling actually like pretty deranged at moments about my relationship, like really disrespected a lot of the time, very alone and like super confused. Like I had it all wrong. And I really often felt like I was a bad person because I was doing such a bad job at handling everything that was going on. And I couldn't muster up like any of the patience, compassion, love, kindness, like anything that was important to me or any of those qualities that I thought I had, like were not happening very often. I mean, they were, but just not in a lot of moments. Like I was going way off the handle. yeah, like I did have some good moments, of course. And I loved my boyfriend and I was like really into him, obviously, but like I wasn't handling things in a graceful way when they came up. So I had a couple of wake up moments that really got me realizing what I was committed to in this situation. Because I always could have left him, right? Like we had yeah, I was pregnant, but like I didn't have to be with him. I could have figured out other ways, and I knew I was capable of figuring out other ways. So, but I realized like what am I committed to, and decided that I was committed to 3 things, which I'm going to tell you guys. So I was committed to having a happy, healthy household and relationship, right? I was super dedicated to having a happy, healthy household and relationship. And number 2, I was super committed to making sure our house was a safe space for my stepson and that he felt comfortable and welcome there. So that's the second thing. The third thing I was super committed to is being the best version of myself in the relationship and situation and not letting it turn me into the dreaded evil stepmother or like stepmonster. We hear it a lot, right? So if you are committed to that as well, you are in the right place. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm reading. I agree. I babysat for years and worked at a daycare and was attracted to my husband because he was a father, right? And never expected any of the emotions that would come with it. Right, exactly. Thought it would be easy. Totally. Me too, Tish. All the way. And it was a lot more complicated than I expected. I'm sure you had that experience too. So if you're also committed to the 3 things that I just mentioned, I'm so glad you're here because you're right where you need to be. And if you're not sure whether or not you're committed to these things, by the end of this webinar, I think you'll know. So hang in there and do some exploration with me. And if you have questions about knowing whether you're committed to those 3 things or not, let me know at the end and we'll talk about it. So I basically worked my butt off. I got really obsessed with cracking the code and how to create a healthy, happy household and how to create and make sure that we had a healthy, happy relationship. I realized that my situation and the ugly parts of me spilling out were the exact parts of me that I actually hadn't yet addressed in therapy or any of my personal growth work. Like this was all new territory. These relationships, but like as a parent figure and then with my significant other in the way that we were was a completely new thing. So there they were staring me in the face in the most blatant of ways possible. Anger issues, control issues, fear of other people's judgments, relying on my partner to meet all of my needs and make me happy, right? My tendency to expect the unreasonable, just to name a few. And those are things that outside of this type of serious relationship, because when you get into a relationship with someone with a kid, it's serious like right away, right? Like there's not a whole lot of like playtime because and I did not realize that either. But yeah, so all these relational things come up that really come from our childhood, but we've never seen them before because we've never had this intense of a relational experience. So if you can relate to any of those types of issues that just came out, like when you became a stepmom, hit a 1 in the chat box. I'm curious to see. So I'm just looking at some of these things. Okay. So, so I got to work basically, and now I'm finally at. I mean, I did so much personal growth work. And we did a lot of relationship work too. And my stepmom coach was really the one who started that for me, and who started the process, and who got me on a path and got me feeling like I kind of think of the beginning of the stepmom journey, and sometimes where we find ourselves even down the road. I've talked to stepmoms who are in this place like 10 years down the road, and it's almost like you're drowning and you don't even know what direction is the surface, right? So getting a stepmom coach for me was like, here's the way to swim to get to the surface so you can breathe again, right? And then it made everything get better. So I feel now like I'm in this place where I've done all this work. I've messed up so many times. I'm not perfect. I still mess up sometimes, and I don't always do what I teach, and I don't always do what I know I'm committed to. I'm human and I'm emotional, and I have really ingrained patterns and really ingrained programming that, has stuck with me for a long time. And so much more of the time, I am balanced and happy and connected and confident in myself. So much more of the time. Like I'm swimming on the surface of the water. You know what I mean? And yeah, sometimes I messed up and maybe I get a little splash in my face. You know what I mean? But I don't sink back down again. And it's been a messy road. Like, it's been a really messy road. And I feel like it's worth it when I get to talk about it with you guys, because I feel, and not everyone that I talk to and that I help has went to like the depths of the ocean that I went to. Okay. Like, but my goal is to actually prevent you guys from going to those depths, and also to, you know, learn from my mistakes. Because if I've been to where the worst has been, then I can support anyone who's been there or above me. Right. So, yeah, I want to help other people not do it as hard of a way as I did. And so, like I said, my relationship still has its challenges. It's not perfect, and we still continue to continually work and grow together. I can honestly say that I love my partner more than ever, which is even weird to hear myself say out loud, because there was a time that I didn't even know if I loved him anymore because I was so disgruntled. And I've learned so much more from my parenting challenges with my stepson that have made me the mom that I am. Like, literally, it's like crazy to think about that, but like, all the challenges with him have caused me to do the work on myself that have made me such a better mom to my own son, and now able to be connected to my stepson in a way that, I mean, I had no idea. So anyways, so yeah, taking on the challenges of being a stepmom and using them for my personal growth has made me better in all areas. It's made me better professionally. It's made me better who I keep my social circles with. Like, it's, you know, just everywhere. So I really can say that I'm more empowered, emotionally balanced, and healthy in mind, body, and spirit than I've ever been. And I really think it's due to being faced with like all this crap and then sifting through it and overcoming it. It's just been incredibly empowering for me. So yeah, so I want to reinforce that I'm not like some kind of a angel, okay, or saint by any means. I still have to deal with BS from the ex. I just had a challenge with her the other day. Oh my gosh, that I'm not going to get into, but super challenging. Sometimes my mother-in-law, right, and sometimes my significant other. But the huge difference is that I have the skills, tools, and practices so that I can turn to them, and it doesn't make me crazy or completely locked down. Like I said, I don't drown. I get like splashed. Maybe sometimes I go under, and then I'm like, oh wait, I know how to get to the top. Why am I down here? So it's a pretty radical difference. So that's what I'm here to do for you all, ladies, is to give you a way out, a way to the surface. I'm here to give you some tips that will head you in the right direction. By the end of this webinar, you'll have an understanding of what it takes to not let the challenging circumstances that you're in get you down. And the opportunity that I'm offering will change your life. It's an opportunity to set yourself up for success in just 3 months. And it's what I and many other stepmoms who insist on doing things by themselves or with the help of a personally and professionally inexperienced therapist, they do it in like 2, 3, 4 more years, like suffering the whole time. And for high-functioning, action-oriented learners, therapy is a much slower process, I found. And especially because most therapists are not trained in blended family dynamics and might even give you advice that could be like damaging to your family. So, and I know this because I'm a therapist and I've worked with both one-on-one clients and coaching clients and programs, and I just really see the difference. So while therapy, I'm not like, you know, therapy has its place and it's definitely worthwhile. I truly believe that coaching for really high-functioning stepmoms in the container of a program is what really makes a huge impact and just excels the growth and progress and creates more joy, balance, and ease in your life just way quicker. And in a more sustainable way, like in a way where you learn things and then you have them in your toolbox to go to. So it has a much more powerful impact. So you don't have to struggle and suffer and drive yourself crazy for the next 2 to 4 years. You know what I mean? So let me just check the chat box here and see if Lisa says yes, totally agree. The X is my biggest challenge. Yeah. Mine's even respectful. It's so hard to have another person like in on the situation, and I'm not going to get into it. Okay. Maybe I'll get into it at the end during Q&A, but right now I'm not going to get into it. We worked it out. It's all good now, but it definitely was a challenge. So I just want to say that to say that I am human and not just like some super some stuff. Okay, so I just want to reinforce again my encouragement to stay to the end. Like I said, I decided to make a super special, kind of insane offer for those of you who are here, and I'm really excited about it. So stick around so you can get in on it. Don't tell anyone, just kidding. I was at the webinar and look, guess what I got? Okay, so first we're going to start with something for you to do right here, right now. So I hope you have a pen and paper. If you don't, go scramble and get one. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to put a line down the middle of your paper. I'll give you a moment in case you're getting your pen. And on one side, I want you to write at the top things you can control. And on the other side, I want you to write at the top things you cannot control. It sounds so obvious, but once you actually do it and write it down on paper, it's like, it can be eye-opening. So jot down 4 to 5 things on each side that come to mind. Think hard about what specifically in your situation you can't control. You can't, for example, control your husband's behavior. Right? If you have a wife, let me know, and I won't use that languaging, but generally I just tend to use men and women languaging. You can make requests, right? But ultimately, you can't control him. And most likely, if you're trying to, I bet you're getting the opposite result from what you actually want. Am I right? So write the specific thing he is doing that you cannot control. Maybe it's how he parents. Include the X in this category. So especially if you have a high conflict X, there's a lot you cannot control. So write all those things down. So now write down what you can control. There's a few key things I want to see if you can see, if you notice, if you can figure out for yourselves what you can control. This webinar is going to be all about that category, so you can add to that side as we go. Right. So now that we've done that, we are going to get into the 3 keys to feeling empowered consistently as a stepmom. Doesn't mean you don't have bad days, but there's a consistent sense of empowerment. When you see your friends, you're not complaining about the ex or the kids the whole time. All right, so we'll start with you're actually like feeling good about your life and your family, right? Like that's the difference. Someone asked me recently, they were like, okay, so I've done all this work. Where am I trying to get to? You know, like and so I was trying to explain it to her, and that's like a really good signal actually. When you see your friends, you're not like, oh my God, this is like driving me crazy. You're actually like, you feel at peace with yourself, even though things might still be hard. You're not drenched in it. You're handling things and you feel good and positive about your situation. So key number 1, how to build your resilience. So resilience is really important, and it was a wake up for me to learn about resilience and to build my own resilience, and to learn that it's not about making everyone behave how you want and life do what you want so that you don't have any stress, right? It's about building your resilience so that you can handle things and not get wrecked in the midst of the chaos. Things not always going your way, changes happening that weren't in your plans, etc. So one of the major ways that brain scientists have actually discovered that we can build this ability is to recognize our emotions. So recognizing your emotions seems like a simple concept, but it's actually a learned skill. What we do instead of recognizing them more often is we suppress them or we dwell in them, okay? So do you guys follow me here? Press a 1 in the chat box if you follow what I'm saying. Either dwelling or suppressing. We're going to get more into this. So what happens when we suppress our emotions? There's this saying that goes, feelings buried alive never die. They come out in other ways, right? Maybe it's rage, like how it came out with me. Maybe it's overeating. Maybe it's acting out with other people and other relationships in your life. Whatever you resist is actually going to persist, right? Like the saying says. So they creep out. It creeps out. When you compulsively ruminate at night, that's another way that it comes out. And what happens when we dwell in our emotions? We complain, right? And we find other people who are complaining, and we have a complaint fest. Everybody complains together, and they think that they're helping each other, right? But they've actually studied the effects of complaining and proven that complaining actually makes people feel worse. It does not help to relieve upset or help people feel like they're better, okay? So pretty interesting. So there's a middle ground, and that is observing our emotions. So there's a psychologist who talks about this stuff, and he calls it naming it to tame it. So it's acknowledging our emotions and perhaps even acting on them, like making decisions based on them. Oftentimes they're telling us something. We may need to take care of ourselves in a certain way. We might need to have a conversation with someone at some point, not when we're super emotionally reactive, but it might be telling us that we need to set a boundary. So acknowledging them, feeling them, and then see if there's something that needs to happen or something that needs to be taken care of within you. So do you need to release them? Do you need to calm down your nervous system so that you can recalibrate? Do you need to self-soothe in some way because it's bringing up an old wound for you that has nothing to do with the situation? With exercise or social time or a bath or a night in a hotel. I had a stepmom client who felt insane every time her boyfriend took his kids back to the ex's house. And he'd shown her no reasons why he would be unfaithful or that he felt any interest in his ex, but she still felt totally insane. She would, get super upset if he spent any more time than what he said he would. Tish, I'm not sure what happened. I just saw you be readmitted. I hope everything's okay. Let me know if there's a problem. Can you all hear me? Is everything okay? I haven't seen any chats or anything. Can you guys give me a little? Okay, cool, Lisa. Thank you. Yours quit responding? Huh, how weird, Tish. I'm glad you're back. Okay, we're figuring it out. Eileen, are you there? So she felt insane. Like if he spent more than the allotted time, like they tried so many things, and if she spent more than the allotted time, if he spent more than the allotted time over there, she would freak out and she would end up having a total breakdown, right? So, and we discovered together through talking about this and talking through it that she was a private client of mine, that it was about her past experiences of being cheated on, and it wasn't actually about that situation, although it was very easy to think that it was because he was on the land that they bought together and he would drop the kids off and play with them on the land, and she thought there was all this stuff around that, but it was actually about her past relationship. So we figured that out. We figured out what she needed from him. Once she got that, she was still having problems. Then we had to see what is this actually about? How can we build the security in your relationship? And even with that, she was still getting really upset. So we saw it was about her past because he just wasn't the kind of guy who was going to always be on time. And honestly, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing that he was playing with the kids at their house, at their mom's house. There was it depends on the situation whether it's okay or not. And of course, he needed to respect her wishes, but we were trying to find some kind of balance that could work for everyone, right? So we figured out what she needed to do for herself in order to heal that, and in order to move on, she had some work that she needed to do, and we got him in and we did all this stuff, but it ended up really making a difference. So we got to compare what was happening in the present and what the emotion was about and what needed to be done. So that took her really doing some work to figure out what is this about? What's the exact reason why this is happening? And she was able to do what she needed to do to find peace with it and not get so triggered. So don't let your emotions take over. Do not identify with them, label them, and that will actually stop us from identifying with them. And by thinking that we are our emotions, we are not our emotions. They are something that is happening, and we need to get space so that we can be the observers of our emotions and not just I'm sad, but I'm having sadness in my body. This is where it feels. This is what's coming up. We can get to know it with curiosity. That's kind of the idea of mindfulness. Instead of reacting to it right away or trying to push it away. And then, what am I needing right now, right? Is there a boundary I need to set? So this is a big break from our habit of either suppressing or dwelling. And it does take a lot of practice. And it's proven to be one of the top ways that people build their resilience is through mindfulness and getting good at this skill. So the second key is confidence. So resilience is the first, confidence is the second. So watch, one really great way to build your confidence and to gain confidence is to watch your inner dialogue. We have a constant inner dialogue, okay? This is also applicable to mindfulness. I'm super into mindfulness. I have a big background in it, and meditation made a really huge difference in my life when I was younger. So I always come back to these concepts. So our mental chatter is going around the clock. We're judging, we're analyzing, we're thinking about something that happened in the past, we're planning for something in the future, when really all we have is right now. Like, this is all that's actually real, is right now in this moment. So like getting your mind to stay in the present and like remembering what you're committed to in this moment, regardless of what happened in the past, regardless of what you're planning for the future. Like, what are you committed to, and how can you make more powerful decisions from a place of what am I committed to? Every moment is a chance to turn it all around. I 150% believe this because I practice it and I use it, and I'm not always in a good mood. I am very grumpy sometimes. But I've noticed that in a grumpy state, I can choose to start engaging and to start feeling gratitude and to start having some self-compassion, and then things can turn around in a moment. So every moment is new and fresh, and you always get a choice in every moment. And so also observing our inner dialogue is so important, but the confidence piece especially, because, well, for so many reasons, but it's important to see how it talks to you, how your inner dialogue is speaking to you throughout the day, or if you mess up with your stepkid, or if you do something your significant other doesn't like, or if he does something you don't like. What do you say to yourself? Is it mean? Does self-doubt tend to run the show? Does this like mental chatter of self-doubt totally take over? Does guilt run the show? So when you feel guilty about not doing something, or you feel guilty so it prevents you from doing what you need to do to take care of yourself, does that run the show? And what's the mental chatter around that? So really recognizing that chatter, getting to know that as well. This is a lot of self-awareness work, ladies. But that's the key. I mean, that is where it all happens, is with self-awareness. If you can master that, you are going to be good to go. Seriously, no matter what life brings you. Shoot, guys, I lost my place. Hang on. So, self-blame can happen. It's not you. That's not you either. I'm going to challenge you to come up with a new inner dialogue. So further down on your paper with the line down the middle, I want you to write in the left column the kinds of negative thoughts that your inner dialogue tends to get stuck on. So all the negative stuff it says about you. I'm not good enough. Why can't I handle this? I don't know what I'm doing. Did I do that right? Should I have done this differently? Maybe I shouldn't do that. Write them all down. Write the main ones that run the show. If you can't think of any, start to explore that in your day-to-day life. Who knows they have negative thoughts about themselves running the show the majority of the time? Put a 1 in the chat box if you know that you are really hard on yourself and you tend to beat yourself up. And take out on yourself everything that's going on, or never think you make the right choices. So in the second column, write the opposite thoughts to the negative ones you wrote. Create a new inner dialogue. So when your negative thoughts come up, you can actually, when you notice that they're coming up, you can say, oh, that's my old self-doubt pattern that I tend to run. It's really not helpful. I'm going to switch that to the positive one instead. So things that you can tell yourself when self-doubt come up, when guilt come up, when negativity start to come up and run the show. So if you need some ideas for what your, last time I did this webinar, people really liked, I helped them like reframe their negative thinking. So if you want me to help you with that and come up with some phrases for you to say, tell yourself that will like oppose the opposite negative one, just write the opposite negative one in the chat box, and I'll give you an example of a new dialogue that you can start to create. Get stuck on negative thoughts, right? And they just like stick with you, and you're like, they consume you, and they just go and go, and then everything seems more negative, right? Man, there's times when I swear I'm like, my world sucks. Like everything sucks. Like, what? That's so not true at all. Like, but you could just spin if you let yourself. I'm not the right person for this job. Okay, so Lisa, I'm here for a reason. I'm looking forward to finding out what that is, something like that. Or I'm good enough exactly as I am. Because you are, Lisa. And if you're here, you are definitely good enough for your job, okay? Because you're working on it and you're dedicated enough to come to a webinar that you saw advertised with someone that you don't even know. So you're clearly already amazing. And yeah, I'm enough. I'm good enough. You can even say, just because I messed up in this way, I'm still good enough for this job. Okay, so if anyone else has any, go ahead. You can chat them whenever you want. So look at your list. And the third key is what we're going to talk about that kind of brings all of these together. And really practicing what you can control. So key number 1 was resilience. Key number 2 is confidence. Key number 3 is being empowered, really. It's like being empowered around what you can control. So even the smallest things. So give me some examples in the chat box of things you can control. How you react is a great example. What are things you guys can control? My words, yeah. I can't always control my words, but I try. But yes, your reaction, right? That's kind of the same thing as your reaction. You can control your words. It's true. Anyone else here? What's going on with you ladies? How I use my time. Yes, Lisa, totally. Yes, good one. How I use my time. My reactions is a big one for me. Yeah, you can totally control how you use your time, your reactions. All right, so I'll give you guys a couple other ideas. Gratitude is always available. I actually have stickers around my house that say, "In everything, give thanks." Because when I get mad at my stepson, I used to get mad a lot more often. I've worked really hard to be connected to him, and things are way smoother, even though, like, it's crazy, you guys. When I work on myself, everything can be exactly the same around me, but I feel 100 times more amazing. So just like I have that potential and the capability of going all the way down the rabbit hole and thinking that the whole world sucks, I also have the other side where I'm like, everything is great. Like, I can't believe I was upset yesterday because this is awesome. You know what I mean? So, and that's all you. Like, you get to do that. You get to create the way that you think. So gratitude is literally always available. So my stepson especially used to really trigger me and tick me off, and I would look at it, and so I'd start to have the negative thoughts, right? Like, why does he do this? And then because his dad never taught him, right? Like, you can relate to this. Put a 1 in the chat box if you can relate to this. So why does he do this? Because his dad never taught him, and his dad shouldn't have done this. And then I'm like mad at his dad because of something that my stepson's doing. And then it becomes about him, and like it just spirals. Like, why did I get myself into this situation? Like the thoughts, right? So instead of going all the way down that way, I see a sticker that says, "In everything, give thanks." And I'm like, okay, what can I be grateful to my stepson for in this moment? And then I think of something like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for how sweet he was to his brother this morning. You know, like he showed him how to put his pants on or something. And that was so sweet the way he did that. So then I say it out loud. I say, "Hey, Isaac, thank you so much for showing Clay how to put his pants on. That was so sweet. Like, that was such a good brother thing to do." And guess what? The old thing that I was mad at him about, like, whoosh, gone. The negative emotions and stuck energy that I was feeling in my body, gone. And instead I feel all the anger towards my significant other, gone. Literally, it's crazy. I know it sounds so simple, but it is so crazy. So, how powerful gratitude is. And then focusing on what you're committed to in your life too when negative emotions come up. So let yourself feel them, do what needs to be done, and then return to your commitments and focus on your vision. Like, why are you there to begin with? So when things get really hard, I'm like, why am I even here? Like, oh, because of all these reasons, because I believe in a happy, healthy household, and I'm continuing to work on this because I want my stepson to feel safe and happy in our house. and I am not going to let this get to me because I want to have a, what was my third commitment, you guys? I'm like blanking right now. My third commitment is, I mean, I know them in my head, you know what I mean? But spelling them out is a different thing, and reading them is a different thing. Being the best version of myself, right? So I'll do whatever it takes, right? So it's like continually coming back to your commitments and coming back to your vision. Okay, now I lost my place again. So hang on, you guys are so patient. What? You're not patient? You're so patient. Look how patient you're being with me. You lose your patience too quickly. Yeah, Tish. And this also has to do with like whatever else is going on in your life, which is something we actually do in my group program, is looking at all areas of your life so that you can see if something's out of balance or not in alignment, or just really, really off for you in the rest of your life, like your job, or maybe you have a stressful parent, or you're not setting boundaries somewhere else in your life, then we tend to be on edge, and then we lose our patience more quickly. So that's something we could look at closer, Tish. So you can also ask yourself how much this is going to matter in 3 years. I don't know about you guys, but I used to really think that everything was an emergency and had to be addressed right then and there. And when you ask yourself, how much is this really going to matter in 3 years, you can start to catch yourself when you go into victim mode and you start feeling like the victim of your circumstances. You can start to catch yourself and say, I'm not the victim of my circumstances. How can I be empowered in this situation? So in conclusion, you stick around. You're going to get this offer. Super excited. You've heard me talk today about me and who I am, how far I've come, and how passionate I am to use my fumbles and foils and messy personal growth journey to become a better person. And I've done some crazy stuff, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. And to support you guys, you've heard about that. You've heard about how to become a better person and stepmom, and to be able to ride through the waves of challenges. You can do that with much more grace and ease. And we've talked about what you can do to build your resilience through self-care and building up a foundation of inner strength. We've talked about how to master your self-confidence and how to feel empowered no matter what. Things that you can focus on to feel empowered regardless of what's happening. And if this has been helpful in any way, I'd love to hear what was the number one thing that resonated with you. So please type in the chat box what was the most helpful. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to type them in the chat box. And we'll get in. I'm just going to wait a second, see if anyone has any questions. I'm outside at the office that I run right now. It's like warm here. I can't believe it. I was expecting to wear a sweater, hence my bra straps sticking out, because it's been like fall and cold, and now all of a sudden it's summer again. So there's a little bit of confusion going on in the atmosphere. Okay, so if there aren't any questions. Oh, good, Lisa. I'm so glad. Yeah, it can feel so alone. I know exactly how you feel. I have totally been there, girl. It can be very, very challenging. And yeah, you feel like you're doing everything wrong because no one really understands what you're going through. I so remember that feeling of like, I mean, even really good friends would give me advice that was like totally not applicable. And moms don't get it. Your parents don't really get it. Like your partner doesn't really get it, right? So it's very, very challenging. Yeah. I'm glad you're here. It is very unique. And it's in a different time too. Parenting is different now than it was 10 years ago. Divorce is different now than it was 10 years ago. Like even our parents, you know, my dad had me every other weekend and on Wednesday nights. And my step-parents, my parents probably got divorced twice because of the kids and because of the blended family situation, because it is really stressful. It's like a 70% divorce rate or something with kids. So it's kind of crazy. Okay, so anyways, thank you for sharing that, Lisa. I appreciate it. So I want to tell you guys about this offer. This is for you action-oriented stepmoms who are ready to get down to it and who are determined to minimize the suffering for yourself as you navigate your blended family challenges. You really do deserve to feel good about yourself in this process, okay? and you believe, and if you believe that everyone else deserves to feel good except you, that type others in the chat box. I'd love to see. If you're like, no, I don't really need to feel good about this, like my husband needs to feel good, the kids need to feel good about me, like, no, I'm just like on the side here, let me know. You have a question about setting boundaries around that? Okay, Lisa, go ahead. I'm going to keep talking and then I'll come back to your question. So I want to ask you guys, as we start to wrap up, what is more important than, what are you prioritizing that's not your relationship, that's not you being the best version of yourself? And think about that for a moment, because that is determining the entire situation. If you're not prioritizing you getting the support that you need and being the best that you can be, what are you prioritizing that's more important than that? Because it's affecting everyone. So this opportunity is the 3-month program I've been talking about that you may or may not have seen for stepmoms who are committed to the 3 things that I mentioned at the beginning of the seminar, regardless of where you are right now, that you're committed to a happy, healthy relationship and household, you're committed to being the best version of yourself, and you're committed to creating a safe and nurturing and loving space for your stepkids. So the offer that I'm extending today is, so this program, you have to believe that you deserve the investment of your time, finances, energy, and commitment, and that you will get the most out of the program that you possibly can. That's what I want. I want you guys, the people in this program, I want to use me completely, to use the community, to use the container to get the results that they want, to get the vision that they have for themselves and their family, okay? And you get to say yes to that, and you get to step into that version of yourself who says yes to that vision, right? So I've seen radical changes happen when a stepmom said yes to working with me in a program. And for some, it's a really big leap. So my exciting announcement for you all is that instead of the $99 a month that I normally charge for the 3-month program that's starting in a week, that comes out to $297 total for 3 months. I'm giving you a discount for pay in full. Like, I also give a discount for pay in full clients until October 6th, which is 3 days before the program starts. And that comes down to $247 for the pay in full clients who pay all at once. But I'm going to go even further than that, just for the folks on this webinar. I just had this crazy idea to do this, and so I'm doing it, and offer you $199 for the entire program, okay? And this is a total steal. Like, it's crazy that I'm doing it. I just felt compelled, and I really want to see more stepmoms finding peace and ease in their situation. I want to do this work, and I want it to reach people. So $199 for 3 months. That's less than $67 a month, which is crazy because you pay about $120 an hour for therapy, and this 3 months is going to change you way more than 12 sessions of therapy would. So take advantage. I'm going to put the link up right now, and then we're going to get to Lisa's question. So there's the link to get the $199 discount for 3 months, valued at really more, I mean, it's $297, but it's actually way more valuable than that. It includes 4 virtual video conference calls a month. So you get to actually see the other women on the conference call and really build community that way. And even though it's virtual, people still get super connected through that. You get a private Facebook group where you can come in for support and coaching 24/7. So I'll be in there, I'll answer your stuff within 24 hours, except on the weekends. That's my commitment to the group, is that I'll be in there coaching you guys privately. And you get exercises and assignments to do, some by yourself, some with your significant other, so that you guys can get more on the same page, be more connected, and he can be educated if he needs to be about blended family dynamics and about what's appropriate for you in your role and not. So my goal is that everyone leaves the 3-month program completely clear on their roles and responsibilities as a stepmom, that they leave the program with a foundation of super connection and teammate mentality with their significant other, and that they leave the program with an action plan for how to deal with an ex especially if she's totally like charts. So not only will we be giving the exercises and assignments, and I'll have a topic on 2 of the calls, and then the second call will be like community and sharing and support and coaching. But you'll also get specific stuff to tailor to whatever's going on for you. So if you need extra support for something, you can come into the private Facebook group and get the support that you need, brainstorm any issues, or, like, this isn't working, why isn't this working? And then we can see like what needs to be adjusted. And it's, people invest their time and money and energy in what's important to them. So I don't know what's more important than empowering yourself so that you can, because you will literally uplift your entire household. I always say you can tell a person's value by their bank account, by what they spend their money on, right? And by you empowering yourself, I promise you'll empower the people around you. I've seen a couple really cool things happen when people sign up. For myself, I'll share with you guys, the first time I hired a stepmom coach, my boyfriend thought I was crazy. He was kind of embarrassed that I was going to be talking about like our problems essentially with someone, and he almost took it as like an insult. And by saying yes though, and when he saw the results and how much more calm and peaceful I became and how much more respectful and connected with him it got me, he soon realized like the real purpose. And he was literally like anti-support services before he met me, you guys. And now he's been to couples counseling and did a 6-month personal growth program, and we're even signing up for this thing called Couples Coaching Couples. So by stopping yourself from doing it because of that, of what he would say or think, I've seen this happen some, you're actually keeping both of you small. Like, you're not giving him a chance to grow either by saying, oh, he's not going to get it, he's going to be mad. Like, you're keeping him stuck. And so you're doing both of you guys a favor by saying yes and by taking that step, taking that leap of faith. Yeah, I just want to say that because it's really important, and I don't want that to stop people. So yeah, when your family and friends see you lighting up, they see you laughing and playing and feeling like yourself again, they're all going to be uplifted. The kids are going to be better off. They've had enough drama in their lives. They don't need a grouchy stepmom, right? And they'll be inspired too to take on a different version. You don't know how many people are like, wow, what you've done is so inspiring. Like, you went from here. They've seen my friends and community around me. They know how hard I've been because they've seen the results. Like, literally they see the change in our family, from where I was so stressed and, complaining and feeling like a victim all the time to now we're all so much happier. We go places and people are like, wow, what have you done? Like, I can't believe what you created. And it's so true. You have so much more power than you think. Yeah. And, for what it's worth, I have a deep belief and passion that there's nothing more worth investing in than your personal growth and development. Because that's what's going to get you the fulfilling relationships. And that's what's going to get you a fulfilling life, really, is like, I think life, we're meant to like grow and expand, So you're not going to be happy about those cappuccinos that you bought or getting your nails done all the time, or, you're going to be happy about like the relationships that you had at the end of your life and the work that you did to conquer those challenges and the example that you set for everyone around you, including the kids in your life. That's some powerful stuff, guys. Old people don't remember what outfits they bought every month or what restaurants they dined out at. They remember the relationships and the things that inspired them, right? When they get to the ends of their lives. So if you're not enjoying those and you're feeling like crap, it's really important to do something about it, either with me or get some kind of support that is going to make a difference for you. All right, let me get to Lisa's question if I see it. The ex often makes decisions that negatively impact my stepkids, which means that my partner has to deal with a lot of crap. Yeah, so a lot of that, Lisa, is accepting that she's going to do that. And I'd have to hear about some of the crap, because you guys can set boundaries that keep you okay, even if she's done something that is making them, I don't know, like, are they acting out with you guys or saying hateful things, or what are they doing? But you have to accept, like, it's part of your deal. It's completely part of what you're choosing right now. Like, you're choosing him, and by extension, you're choosing her. When I decided to do this work on myself, I taking on adult responsibilities because they take care of her. Yeah, so you could be like, you don't need to do that. Like, we got you at this house. Like, I know your mom does that, and you really, in this house, like, we're going to take care of that. Don't worry about it. Or, and then, and you can't, it's their destiny. It's their destiny is to have that mom, and you cannot control and micromanage everything they do or don't do. And they're going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, just trusting that it's not yours to control and they're going to be okay around her. Yeah, so I'd have to hear more about that, Lisa. Tish, that's how mine feels, but I feel it could be good for me. I think mine just doesn't understand all the feelings I do have. Yeah, that happens a lot too, Tish, is that you're saying like, look, I'm having a hard time, and they don't really get it, like it doesn't really sink in, right? And so they're confused. And the proof is in the pudding, you know what I mean? Like you make the commitment, and then he'll see, and then he'll be like, wow, this is better, you know, or you won't be complaining as much, or, you know, he'll see the signs, he'll notice them. They take care of her. I don't worry about it because I want to know if it's to be okay. Of course, I know, Lisa, this is the hardest thing, like not just for step parents, but for parents too. Like you want your kids to be happy and comfortable all the time. And I think parents have an easier time deluding themselves if they can control everything about their kids' lives, whereas step parents, like we can't even delude ourselves with that because we have so little control, absolutely so little control, right? So yeah, it's something you really like. That's the work. I think he thinks I can just love his daughter, right? He doesn't understand why I just can't say yes. I know, Tish. And some of the exercises that we do will help him learn about what's typical and not, and what's commonly misunderstood, and what's, so that he can learn too. Because some of it's education. Like, so a lot of men think like, oh, we'll just be in a family and we'll be happy and it'll be no problem, and she'll take over as the bio mom and we'll be just like a nuclear family. And that's so not true. And it can really help to have a third party be like, look, I've studied this, I've researched this, I am trained at all of this, and I've also been in the situation myself personally. So this is what's actually true. Like these are the common misunderstandings, and this is what's actually true. Like this is what's going on. That can be super helpful and make a huge difference. Yeah, I'll tell you guys, and she actually heard me say this on a podcast, but our ex, this is where I went wrong the other day, and I had to relearn my lesson all over again, is the best way to deal with the ex for a stepmom is don't. One word, don't. Don't deal with her. You do not, I'm giving you full permission right now. You don't have to co-parent with her. Okay? Your husband is the one who needs to co-parent with her. All right, you guys, I got to sign off. It was really great. Everyone's situation is so unique, Lisa. I tell people I don't have answers. I have a process that you can take yourself on to get your own answers, because seriously, everyone's situation is so different and so complex. It depends on your needs and feelings, the kids' needs and feelings, your husband's needs and feelings. My goal is to support people to figure out what works for them in their situation, right? So that's what we do through the coaching and in the program, and we get super into it. So I learn the ins and outs and I learn the details. I just don't want to be around here even at school functions. Tish, then don't. Seriously, take a break. It won't always be this way. You might feel differently in 3 months or 6, but maybe right now that's what you need to do. I'm giving you full permission for that. I try to make myself scarce for drop-offs. I don't sit with her at school functions. She doesn't go to school functions, but you don't have to be around her. Your husband does, because he had kids with her. You didn't have kids with her. You need to be there to support your husband. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? All right. It was a pleasure being with you ladies today. I hope this was so helpful. Feel free to message me with any questions or comments. I love feedback. I love participation. So I'd love to hear. Oh, thank you, Tish. So the promotion of $199, which is a total of almost $100 off the original price, it's $50 off the other discount I'm offering, is good until 8 p.m. tomorrow, the 3rd of October, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So get it while you can, and then it's going to be gone, disappear forever, and it'll go back to the original pricing. So I hope you guys will take advantage. I would love to have you be a part of it. I loved your participation today. You can totally do this, and you know, it's like you get what you put in, what you get out. So you decide it's going to work for you, and it will. You know what I mean? I'll offer what I can and be as useful as I can, and you do the work, and you'll get the results that you want. I promise you that. All right. I will see everyone soon, and I hope to stay connected in some way. All right. Bye-bye.